was on Asya Schechter, which was really cool.
I'm sure.
That was a bit of a highlight for me.
I'm sure.
What's fascinating is like their renewals, so they're like this mix of like
Yeah.
traditional and liberal, so lots of melodies like we do here too. It was real nice. Yeah. So far, let's see. We're at 6. We're close. 7, 8, 7. Yep. 9, 10 if you count all the human beings.
We're close. We're close enough.
Thanksgiving is always like this. Oh, that's right. And
We have some promises.
right. Are they on the way? Right, it's 2 more. 8. We're going to be over your 7.
Yeah. Bust through my benchmark.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. Busy, frenetic.
Uh-huh.
2 of them. So,
Oh, you did 2?
because my family for lunch and my wife's family for dinner,
Ah, okay.
and then we
That's a lot.
the rest of the evening.
Right, you're very, very full. Yeah. Yeah, we had an interesting, the crew that I Thanksgiving with is Annie and Joy and the Newark Hirsch's. That's been our kind of our core Thanksgiving crew for years and years. And Bill now having a girlfriend. It was Bill and his girlfriend and her whole family too. So she brought another 4 people with her.
Okay.
So it was one big old family constellation.
Well,
And we're up to 9.
Yeah, we had 30 at lunch,
Whew.
25 at dinner.
Wow. But you weren't responsible for cooking them. Just some of the preparation work.
My responsibility is carving.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so I don't really cook stuff. I just carve it.
Yeah, I was just responsible for making some cranberry sauce.
Open the can.
No, I make it from scratch with the cranberries. I can follow a recipe and do 10 minutes worth of cooking. Not without making a god-awful mess in my kitchen, but I cleaned the range in the morning, and by the time I was done, it was a mess again. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
So let's gather. We do have other folks on the way, and those online, welcome. And we're going to start our service on page 11. If you open up your prayer books to page 11, you'll find the words to Ki Eshmera Shabbat, the great Sephardic melody. Page 9. Let's read together. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Together, we offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Let's turn back now to page 2 and 3, and as we have been doing, I'm going to invite everyone up here to the front to gather around the candles, and let's make Shabbat happen.
No pressure. Of course, these things never want to light.
So as we bring in this light, we remind ourselves that God's light in our lives. And when we bring in that Shabbat light, we're opening our homes, our places of worship, and our hearts to the Holy and Blessed One. So let's bring in the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who sanctifies us with commandments and commands us to welcome the light of Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's have a seat. Welcome.
Thank you.
So let's turn now to page 16.
Samru l'Adonai bechino, bechino, v'kol zimra. 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 Samru l'Adonai bechino, bechino. bechinor v'kol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai 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 bechinor v'kol zimra.
So Shabbat happens every week, but it takes a little bit of pulling from our end to bring the Shabbat bride to our home, to our place of worship. So on page 20 and 21, we're going to sing Lecha Dodi, but you got to sing loud today because there's just a few of us. And you got to pull the Shabbat bride along so that Shabbat happens.
Lecharudi, Vikarakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Lecharudi, Vikarakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmianu el Amilchad, Adonai echad, Ishmo echad, V'shemot tiferet ve'litila, Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'beracha, Merosh mikerem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Hitoreri, Ki va'orech kumi ori, Uri, shir daveri, Kemod Adonai, alayim niga. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Boi v'shalom aterep ala, Gam b'simcha u'tohola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. One more time. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela. Lecharodi, V'karakala, B'nei Shabbat, Ekavela.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's turn and let's greet everyone. So let's move to page 28 in our prayer books. Page 28. And now that you've sat down, please rise.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'chochma poteach sha'arim uvidvuna meshane itim u'machalif et hazmanim u'mesader et ha'kochavim v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mitnei choshech v'hoshech mitnei or Uma avir yom umevi laila,
Umavdil ben yom uvein laila,
Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravi. Top of page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know.
Lead me into the mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
May be seated. Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Bottom of page 39, let's read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth.
For with you are true protection and safety.
And in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת וינפש שבת שבת וינפש. Should we do it again? V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et
Sheshet Yamim Adonai Et HaShamayim Ve'et Haaretz U'bayom HaShvi'i Shabbat Shabbat Vayinafas Shabbat Shabbat Vayinafas.
Page 46. We rise as able for tefillah.
Adonai Sfatai Tivtah Adonai Sfatai Tivtah Ufi Yagid Teilatecha Ufi Yagid Teilatecha Adonai, open up my lips. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, U'Mido Melach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Remanata L'Chayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Yalucha Selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
And let us all say Amen. You may be seated. Page 55, let's read together at the top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Thanksgiving is not a foreign concept to us. Every service we gather, we have a prayer for giving thanks to the Holy and Blessed One. So on page 59, let's Give thanks. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within. For the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'el lehodot. Let's turn to our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et Amacha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
And now let's turn to our own thoughts. An opportunity to offer up your own private prayer. Please pray silently.
Adonai, Adonai,
turn our thoughts again to the people in our lives who are struggling, those who fight illness, spiritual and physical, those whose lives are made hard by the world around them. They weigh in our thoughts and on our minds. And so this Shabbat we call out the names of John Deacons, Debbie Simon, Allison Powell, Carmen Villarreal, Roger Villarreal, Joan Adler, Anju Sethi, Kenny Baum, Philip Richardson, Laurie Nicole, Diane Claybard, Rebecca Pack, Victoria Scott, Anna Nowicki, Shirley Levin, Regina Fick. And we add to those names those in our thoughts and prayers. So if you have names you want to share, please call them out. Page 253.
Sheperach avotenu mekor abracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheperach imotenu mekor abracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May the Holy and Blessed One bring healing to all those in our lives, and may we find the presence of God in the week ahead and rise to greet that presence. Amen.
Amen.
So it's Thanksgiving, or it was, and so as all as I tend to want to do, I've got to find a story about a turkey. So there is a story about a turkey. It's actually a very famous story about a turkey. I may have even shared part of this story already, but I wasn't quite sure. But Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, one of the greatest storytellers around, he was the great-grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, who was the greatest storyteller. He taught his followers through stories and parables and tales, and he himself fell at times into periods of deep despair. And he learned and he taught that in order to climb, in order to ascend, you sometimes have to descend first. So one of his celebrated tales concerned a prince and a turkey. And it's very apropos given this time of year. So the royal prince, he was convinced he was a turkey. And so he sat beneath the table naked. And he pecked at some bones and crumbs. The king was worried. He called royal physicians who gave up on the prince. A sage volunteered to help. The sage came, he undressed, and sat under the same table as the prince. And the prince had company. "Who are you?" asked the prince. "And what are you doing here?" And the sage said, "And you, what are you doing here?" The prince said, "I'm a turkey." "Me too," said the sage. So they sat together for quite a while, naked under the table. It was a strange moment. And after a number of days, the sage signaled the king's servants to throw him 2 shirts. The sage put his shirt on and said to the prince, "What makes you think that a turkey can't wear a shirt?" So the prince put on a shirt. And so it was with the pants. "What makes you think that a turkey can't wear pants?" The prince emulated the sage until they were both completely dressed. "What makes you think you can't eat what you want?" And he ordered a meal. And the sage continued, "What makes you think you can't sit at a table?" So the prince sat at a table, and the king rejoiced, and the prince returned to his former place in the kingdom. What does this parable mean, especially on this Shabbat? Who's the prince? But we. And who is the sage? But we as well. And there are times when we feel no better than a turkey, a dumb animal that feeds off the fallen crumbs of the king's table. We no longer feel worthy to sit at the royal table or to drink out of silver cups or to eat off golden plates. We're not deserving of that. No, we belong under the table. We've lost our own self-respect. We don't want to look in a mirror. We don't want to dress for we feel naked, not worthy of royal apparel or cosmetics. We don't want to talk to anyone. We are ashamed of failures, of promises unkept, of expectations unfulfilled. And we sit alone beneath the table. And we're afraid of others. Will they not reject me, turn on me, yell at me, chastise me for my laziness? Will they not compare me to the others sitting around the table? The royal ones who've made it, the successful ones, the talented ones. Such is the life of a turkey. The sage is the only one we can speak to because he doesn't speak from a place above us. He's joined us. He's removed his clothes, seated himself beside us under the table. He doesn't scold or shout at us. He doesn't say, "Look at what you've done." He sits with us, encourages us step by step to put on our clothes, to sit at the table, to eat, to engage in conversation. That sage is wisdom and insight. The sage frames our struggle in the daily schmutz we have to put up with. The sage reminds us that all is not lost. There is hope and vision and future. The sage holds our hand and strokes our hair and warms our heart. The sage brings us peace and respite. Such is the life of the sage. During the week, with its peaks and valleys, we become more and more like the turkey. We crawl under the table to hide from the flotsam and jetsam of daily living. We chase after windmills. We come to the message of Kohelet, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. I'm often drawn to the intro of the Jetsons when George is walking the dog on the treadmill, never getting anywhere. Yes, George Jetson is a turkey, but we have hope. We don't want to be turkeys all our lives. So then comes Shabbat. And each week, we're reminded that the sage is there to protect us from the slings and arrows of life. Shabbat enters like a queen in our week, arms open wide, ready to embrace us with her loving touch. The Shabbat reminds us that our progress in life cannot be measured by what we have accomplished in our business during the week, No matter how big the deal, there's always more to do. We never seem to make progress. The inbox is never empty. Our progress through life can only be measured by our faith. Shabbat is our payment for a week of hard work. Shabbat enters our being, and the sage comes to lift us up from under the table. If we fight, we remain turkeys. If we embrace the merit of Shabbat, we can all become sages. This parable is for Shabbat. It tells me about the great, great truth of Judaism. We can change. You see, we all are turkeys, but we can all become sages when we open our souls to the embrace of Shabbat in our lives. You see, the turkey and the sage are both parts of us. Which one wins on a weekly basis is ours to decide. Now, I'm sure that some of you think I've flipped my lid. I've stood on the beam and I called you all a bunch of turkeys. Well, we are. I am too. But I also think that we are a sanctuary full of sages, waiting to crawl from under the table of our own creation and breathe the sweet smell of Shabbat. I want to share with you this poem that was written by Kadia Melodowski, a Yiddish poet from the 20th century. And in her words, listen to the transformation from the struggles of the week to the sacredness of Shabbat. The Song of the Sabbath. I quarreled with the kings till the Sabbath. I fought with the 6 kings of the 6 days of the week. Sunday they took away my sleep. Monday they scattered my salt. And on the 3rd day, my God, they threw out my bread. Whips flashed across my face. The 4th day they caught my dove, my flying dove, and slaughtered it. It was like that till Friday morning. This is my whole week, the dove's flight, dying. At nightfall Friday, I lit 4 candles, and the queen of the Sabbath came to me. Her face lit up the whole world and made it all a Sabbath. My scattered salt shone in its little bowl. My dove, my flying dove, clapped its wings together and licked its throat. The Sabbath queen blessed my candles, and they burned with a pure, clean flame. The light put out the days of the week and my quarreling with the 6 kings. The greenness of the mountains is the greenness of Shabbat. The silver of the lake is the silver of the Sabbath. The singing of the wind is the singing of the Sabbath. And my heart's song is an eternal Sabbath. Embrace Shabbat and embrace the sage that lives within you. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. So we're delighted you're all here tonight. You made us a minyan. We have 10 folks here, which is great. And welcome to anyone who is joining us online. We welcome any new members or guests with us. And a special thank you, as always, to Carol for baking a delicious challah for us. Please note that there is no Temple Sinai School this Sunday, November 27th, as we are still closed for Thanksgiving break. Stop smiling, Ari. Their Social Action Committee is collecting stuffed animals. There's a box in the front of the building. If you have gently used stuffed animals, we are collecting them. Please bring them by. The Social Action Committee has also adopted a family for Christmas. a single mom with 2 children ages 10 and 18. If you are able, you can donate a gift card from H-E-B, Target, Walmart, or a Visa MasterCard, or just write a check made out to Temple Sinai. Please drop them off in the front office or mail them. This Thursday, December 1st at 12:30 is Lunch and Learn with Chava. Please join us for Shabbat services next Friday, December 2nd, 7:30 p.m., co-led by our 6th through 8th graders. Woohoo! We want to invite everyone with young kids to join us for Tat Shabbat, Saturday morning on December 3rd at 10 a.m. And finally, join me on Sunday, December 4th at 9 a.m. for the December Dilemma, an open and frank conversation about how modern Jewish families can embrace the spirit of Hanukkah in the midst of this frenetic and sometimes overwhelming holiday season. And don't forget, if you shared someone's name for Kaddish, let their family know by sending them a Kaddish card, or if you've shared someone's name on our Mishaberach list, the healing prayer, please send them a Mishaberach card. They're available on the desk. Again, Shabbat Shalom. So let's turn now to page 283 and rise as able for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, יראת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
At this sacred time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race, every nation and faith, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. This week we mark the Shloshim of Paul Osofsky, husband of Maida Osofsky, father of Dean, Douglas, and Renee, father-in-law of Melanie, Amy, and Tim, and grandfather of Hannah, Max, and Mia. And we recall those whose yahrzeit falls this week, the anniversary of their death: Karen Sklar, wife of Alex Sklar; Mark Dodonis, father of Kristen Hassett; Mark Lincoln, brother-in-law of Joe Beach; Hannah Frischman, mother of David Frischman; Alex Cam, father of Lawrence Cam; Stanley Carlton, father of Roberta Ray; John Garcia, father of Beth Zephyr. Are there any additional names for Kaddish? For all of them, we say Zechronam Levraha, may their memories be a blessing. We turn now to page 294 and join together in Kaddish. Yid Gadol v'Yid Kadash Shemei Rabah, v'Yalma Divrah Hirutei v'Yablet Malchutei, v'Chaye Echon v'Yom Echon, v'Chaye D'chol Beit Yisrael, v'Agala V'Zman Kariv V'Meru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabah M'varach Le'alam Elamei Alamaya, Yitbarach v'Yishtabach, V'Par v'Tromam v'Naseh, Yitadar v'Yitaleh v'Yitalal, Shmei D'Shubsha B'Richu, Le'ela Minko Birchata v'Shirata, Tushbechata v'Nechamata, Damiran v'Alama v'Himaru, Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemayim,
V'Chayim Aleinu v'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom L'Bramoth, V'Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, and bring comfort to all who are bereaved among us. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. So, in my own twisted sense of reality, I thought it would be good every now and then to draw out a few Sephardic melodies. We're very Ashkenazic leaning in this community, which means we tend to follow the path of Central or Eastern Europe, and there's a whole other world of Judaism out there that comes from Spain and Turkey and southern Russia, and their melodies are beautiful and engaging. So our opening song we sang, Ki Eshmera Shabbat, was a Sephardic melody. Piyut, the melody itself, was a more modern one, but it comes from Sephardic liturgy. And Yom Zel Yisrael, our closing song, has an interesting Sephardic path as well.
But I have no idea where this melody comes from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha. Tzivita bikurim b'mamar Sinai, Shabbat u'moadim lishmor b'chol shanai, Baruch lefanai maseh barucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha. Pirashta v'rachta oto mikol yamim, v'shesh hakilita lechet olamim. Bo matzu adu imashke tuvicha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zel Yisrael, Ora v'Simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat Menucha.
Yeah, it feels very Ashkenazi.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's gather in the lobby for Kiddush and Motzi. That definitely